What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Alex de Silva podcast. We hope you are well and having an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening. Now, let's get on with the show with your host, Alex de Silva.
What's going on, everyone? We are live and we're another episode. We're here. Today, I have a very, very dear friend, Joby, who is the founder of Pure Breathwork. Watch out for these guys. Go and connect with him. I'm going to say this from the get-go. Joby is amazing, as you guys will find out. And what I do love about him and his story is, he's been through multiple near-death misses, major accidents, which, he's going to touch on, suffering from major trauma. Joby's had to find kind of his way to heal himself and has gone through, a variety of journeys. But when he found breathwork, he cleared, 10 years worth of trauma, which I think all of us find as we're going through this. And, he knew that was kind of the calling for him, to be a breathwork leader in this space, to help people to connect with the breath and share, this experience worldwide. So today, he has his own breathwork academy, creating breathwork facilitators. And he also helps people to have trauma releases. He does body movement and holds incredible space for people. He has clients all over the world, and he just continues to grow and shine each and every day. Joby, welcome, brother.
My brother, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, and so nice to be here and be part of your beautiful podcast as well, sharing this incredible information for everyone. I know you've been on a real journey yourself, and come to see you the other day. We did a rebirthing session for you, and it was very, very special. So it was an honor to come and do that, and now to be able to do your podcast as well. It's great, and I hope everyone is really going to get some value from this, because normally when you and I talk, I think the last podcast we did, it was actually on my one, and it was like went on for about 4 hours, and in the end, it was like, we've got to stop.
We completely lost track of time. So this is going to be, as I think people will see, a lot of my podcasts generally tend to be kind of long form anyway. I just go with the flow. Yeah. And as Joby and I were talking before we came on live, I don't script anything. I don't like to script anything. Life is not, it's not scripted anyway.
Right. I think I'm the same as well. The amount of times I've done podcasts, I've done interviews, or you go to events and you plan everything, and then one thing gets said and it just takes you on a completely different spectrum anyway. So it's I really like that free flowing feel as well. So
no, definitely. And it's certainly been, I think, been a journey. I want you to touch on your journey, because when we first met a few years ago, and we got talking to each other, we got to know each other, and there was so many kind of similarities in our experiences. But some of the things you said to me about kind of those near-death misses, the things that have happened to you, and what you've done, just to work on yourself and to overcome these things. Because I think the people that listen to the podcast, they understand that I bring truth. I bring truth. I'm very black and white, as you know as well. But one of the things I also always try to bring to the table is love, kindness, compassion, but to help and to hopefully teach people, not just myself, but the people that I bring in, that the importance of accountability and responsibility, never giving up, not going into that sort of victim mentality and allow that to take over your life. So explain to the people that don't know who you are, about your journey and how you came into this, into where you are today.
Yeah, so about 17 years ago, I was actually working as a scaffolder at the time. I was on a building site. I was working on a big tower block, and it was it was a bit of a weird situation. I was literally working right up the top, and it was tea time. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go down, get the tea, boys for tea. It's my round, one of them. And as I was literally got down to the bottom, one of the guys at the top shouted down and said, "Can I throw a bucket of fittings? Put them up to the top." So pulled them all the way up 70 foot. And there was a guy at the top who was only pretty new with us, hadn't been working for very long. Was also Polish, which isn't a thing, but just his English wasn't amazing. And he actually pulled the bottom of the bucket, and all of the fittings come flying down from 70 feet. And one of them, if anyone has discovered, so it's like a big round bit of metal, weighs a few pounds, big force spikes, and so the tubes go into it. So you join the tubes together, if anyone doesn't know. But so this fitting literally come down, and he shouted out in Polish. I didn't really know what he said, so I looked up, and crash, the fitting struck me straight on top of the head. Broke my skull, ended up having brain surgery. Left me disfigured, big dent in my head. If those on the video you can see. I'm not wearing a hat because of that, by the way. I haven't cut my hair, so I thought I'd keep my hat on. So that day, actually, I lost my vision. I couldn't see anything. So my main thing was like, I'm going to be blind. I wasn't worried about being hit on the head. I was just like, I am literally going to be that. I couldn't see. So I was just kept going. I'm bring my sight back. I'm commanding my sight to come back. And my sight just all of a sudden, boom, come back. So it's the power of the mind in that specific moment. I don't know why. Was it all just the pain, everything I was going through? I had blood pouring everywhere. But I just was like, I don't want to be blind. Bring my sight back. But it crushed all the side of my neck. Like all of my neck was damaged, all my shoulders. Even today, I still have pain in my neck, pain in my shoulders from it. So it sent me on a journey of, I had 2 years of real darkness, like not being able to work, been disfigured, lost everything, couldn't really play football anymore. So I was playing a good standard of football. It was just a whole disruption to my life. And it was a very, very tough time. And then someone said to me, I think you should really maybe try some meditation. When you very first get into it. So they took me down to a meditation center, and I just really fell in love with it. And that led to me sort of learning shamanic work at the center. They was doing shamanic courses, and I was like, okay, cool, yeah. Whatever I need to do to heal my body, let's try everything. And then over the years, I've been run over, I've been crushed by a car, I've had drug incidences, I've had while I was out in Colombia, I was working with the shamans. My body started to shut down because of the medicine. It was like I could feel multiple near-death misses from major accidents, and everyone is a different insight to life, a way of truly knowing how precious life really is. Every breath, that now I really understand how precious every breath is. But it really just led me to all of the traumas, the pains, the anxiety, the stress, the mind just continuously overloading, and the body being in disease because of the pain and everything else. I've always had this thing. My dad was like, when I was growing up, never quit. Never quit. And it's just been installed in me. Never quit, never give up. Be a winner. So everything I've done over the years for the traumas it's been a drive to get better. And I've been sick and had so many accidents. Now I've got to a point where I just hate being sick.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't want to be sick. So I will do everything in my power to learn whatever it is I need to learn to clear the engine. Over the years, it's just led me to new modalities, trying new things. I was trying the Reiki. I've done all of the shamanic healing. I was the meditations. I was doing everything I could. I was going to have personal one-to-one healings with people. I was doing all these different modalities. And then there was one night I went to a shamanic evening. And I was doing some breath work, and it literally just grabbed me. I used to go partying a lot, hence why I said I had a few drug incidences. So I used to be on the party scene, and I was always chasing that high. When I found breath work and I got high on my own supply, like I've never been high before. Like I was zinging all over. I was in different dimensions. It was phenomenal. And it was like about a 2-hour breathwork session. And I felt so clear and so just alive. Like my body, just all this energy had just gone. And I'm talking, this was a good 10 years worth of energy, as you mentioned before, but it was such a profound moment. Something lit up inside me, like what has just happened, which is most people's reactions after a breathwork session. But something lit up inside me, like, I need to share this to the world. I just knew. And before that, I was working online. I was always done online marketing. So I knew I had a platform and I knew how to. I was like, okay, cool. If I just learn this, I can share this, and I can help other people through their trauma. And then that was it. I just absolutely immersed myself every single day. I was walking around the house, breathing. Mum's like, are you all right? I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely fine. Having big yawns, and she's like, what is going on? I'm like, I'm just breathing. I'm good. But she thought, because I was taking big breaths, her initial programming was that something was wrong. And so when people are not used to seeing people breathe, it's like the yawning thing. Our minds are programmed to think yawning is rude, when yawning is actually nature's way of clearing energy.
And also telling you to make sure that you get enough oxygen into your body.
Yeah, absolutely. When we yawn, the yawning mechanism is situated right in the middle of the brain. So it fires and wires neurons all in the brain. So it lights up the brain. So even just talking about it makes you want to have a yawn.
Oh yeah, I don't start because we'll be yawning.
We did a class once, and I started yawning, and then someone else went, and then someone else went for an hour. There must have been 30, 40 of us in this class, and we were breathing and yawning, but we were crying with laughter, because you can't, once you start and you activate the yawns, you can't do it and not laugh.
You can't do
so
it.
your inner child goes, I love this. And you just literally, you heal your body so much. You release all dense energy. So yawning is a major unknown healing modality. It's incredible.
Well, one of our teachers, mentors, talks about yawning as Dan. Dan says it's an advanced breathwork technique. And he explains it very similarly. And one of the things when I was when as you know, I kind of interviewed him before, and he started talking about yawning, and he was kind of explaining, just yawn, and it says, yeah, it catches on so quick, and the next thing you know, people yawning. No doubt, those of you watching, you're gonna yawn. But as
Right.
Joby has just been saying there, yawn big, take those big breaths in, because I want to ask you, Joby, with everything that you've been through, the sort of the physical, because it doesn't just, as you said, you ended up disfigured, and it's the mental, the physical, the trauma. And you said, over time, you've had, these kind of experiences that, every single one of these traumas has kind of taught you something. But when you connected with the breath, you were able to let go of so many things. And over time, what have you found, the ability of the breath? Because as you said, when you're walking around the house, you're breathing, and it's quite funny because as soon as you say that, it's so true.
Oh, it's
Everybody looks, unless they know what you do,
mm.
as you do. You've got your jumper on, I've got mine. So it says breath work. So people know now if I
It's
just start
like
randomly breathing.
the yawn becomes contagious because our
Yeah,
minds suppress it, thinking it's rude, we're not allowed to do it. So we suppress and we hold into the yawn.
yeah,
Same with a big breath. And just letting go. That's what I learned. And when you actually learn to let go with the breath, you can learn to let go in life. And over the years and years and years and years of training and doing everything I can to heal myself, you evolve. So what happens is that the big things that normally could take months and months and months, then all of a sudden they start becoming less and
mm,
less because you've got
mm,
more tools
mm.
to be able to get through your experience quicker.
Yeah,
So, and that's the main thing is that people, when it comes to trauma and stuff, is that people might not know the tools to help them get through it quicker.
mm, mm,
And once we actually learn how to breathe and we learn a few other tools, and again, everything I've done is because of my own experience. So if I hadn't had my experience, then I probably wouldn't be on this path,
yeah, yeah,
but it's one of these learning how for myself, obviously it was physical, it was emotional, it was deep, it's one of them where like you really have to reflect on
mm,
your own shadows, and
mm.
it's deep dark
Yeah.
work, and the
And it's
breath
interesting. It's interesting what you've just touched on there. And sorry to interrupt you, but
no, it's
I
cool.
really want to touch on this. You talked about going deeper, going into the shadow. When people are working through trauma and they're working through pain, I don't know whether this is you, but with me, one of the things I've sort of struggled with throughout my life, I don't know whether it's just a male thing, that we are not as comfortable and as flowy with, with our words in being able to express the tough times, the traumas, whether it's addiction, abuse. And now I can talk about it, very easily.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas before, it was like this tight knot inside that was like, don't talk about this stuff because it's shame and it's disgusting. People are going to judge you, blah, blah, blah. So, my question, and I want you to just touch on what was your journey? Because in life, we don't get given a manual for life.
Mhm.
This is why we're here. We're here to discover life.
Yeah,
But as we go through these journeys, a lot of people, including myself, I was one of those people that struggled to speak things out. I struggle to verbalize sometimes. Like I said, I've gotten so much better. I'm literally poles apart to who I used to be. But I used to internalize everything. I used to hold everything inside. And by doing that, this pain and this suffering, and as you know, you can feel it in the body, the energy, everything is just there. But when you learn to kind of connect that to the breath, and with everything you've been through, what did it teach you, you know, as you know, because the
great question.
breath, takes you inside, and it
Mm.
allows you to have this experience where you've got to understand. And I want the listeners to understand this and listen to what Joby's going to say next. Is the good, the bad. So positive, negative, that's all there is. I've said this many times. There is, but these two are essential, like the dark is with the light. There is no light without the dark. There is no dark without the light. We must have both.
And
So,
can we come to a place where we are neutral, so we're grey? Okay. Les said that to me, our friend Les the shaman. He says, be in the neutral place.
The grey, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, be in the grey. If you can be in the grey, then, and be an observer. Okay. Even Buddha's teachings, it's all about having no judgment, having no attachment, being the observer. And that was a major teaching for me, observing it. So you become a seat of your soul, you become the seat of your consciousness. And whatever's playing out, allow it to, so you have the thoughts, the feelings. Okay, what am I feeling right now? And you can breathe into that. Just take a breath right now. What are you feeling right now? And that was a major thing for me right now. Okay, cool. What am I feeling? Okay, let's breathe into that. And the more you let go, as I said earlier, letting go with the breath. See, as you do that, you relax. And as you relax, you tell the mind and the body that you are safe. If you're tight and stressed and all of that energy is wound up, like you mentioned, and you feel that tightness, we need to unwind that. Okay, so in our body is our fascia. The fascia is like the skin within the skin, and this holds the emotions, it holds the pains, the traumas, the memories. It's like the fascia just holds everything. It's like a spider web of dimensions. It holds everything together. But when we could start working with the body, and we're opening up the body, and we can breathe into the body, we're putting pressure into them points where our body is holding that tense energy, where we're winding that up and we're getting so dense and negative. So we need to unwind that. But for me, it was obviously having to go through so many traumas and to get to where I am now. I don't advise everyone go through as many traumas as I've had. No. Warning.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's one of them. And to be fair, comedy, laughter with trauma is, as soon as I found, there was a day that I had many years ago, and I was just, it got to a point, it was so like, just everything was on top of me. I just felt like heavy, and I just started laughing. I was like, what is this? Like, well, how much more have I got to go through? I just ended up in this moment of laughter. And it was like, and it was just literally like a whole, again, weight off my shoulders just went. And I went, you get that like a moment.
Yeah, just the penny drop.
Yeah, big time. Like I'm a big kid anyway. I love playing around. So for me, bringing out your inner child, that's why I love breathing so much, is because when we breathe, we change the chemistry of the mind. So if the mind is going 10 to a dozen, the monkey mind is happening, physical pain, if we change the rhythm of the breath, even just for a few breaths, you start changing the chemistry. You start firing and wiring different signals up the vagus nerve, which goes into the brain. So we start just with a few breaths, even rhythmic breathing, in for 2, out for 2, in for 4, out for 4, in for 4, hold for a couple, out for 4. Rhythmic breathing, bring yourself back into balance. I really like a nice breath as well, where you just breathe in really nice and slow, count for 7, in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can do it however you want. 7's a magic number. We have 7 chakras as well. So when we count in, I literally was doing it the other day. I was practicing and just playing the other day. And then you just breathe into each chakra, and you feel it lighting up. So your chakras are your energy centers, for those that don't know. And when you breathe in and you feel it like lighting up like a light bulb, boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, you're using your imagination as well. It's a good one. Getting in, going deep inside, and just playing.
Yeah.
Playing with the breath in different rhythms.
Connection, isn't it, with the mind, body, and spirit, isn't it? And when you bring the breath into it, you really trigger, the most powerful part of us, which is the mind. It's the mind. The mind has, historically been designed to keep us alive.
Of course.
But when you regain control of the mind, you start to master, the mind. You don't let the mind master you. And you can do that with the breath. And as Joby said, you can then play with it, because we are creators, essentially. That's what we are. We're here to create. We're here to play. We're here to enjoy ourselves, and as kind of Joby touched on there about, being able to just connect to that breath, the breath that goes in, and you just feel that breath, feel the body, and then just let go and release. And honestly, I used to think, before I started this, I used to think this was all hippie shit. I used to think this was all crazy fucking hippie shit, tree hugging idiots. And then I became, exactly.
Even my family members like, what's this woo-woo shit?
What's this woo-woo shit? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you just call their therapy woo-woo shit.
This is it. And then all of a sudden we become one, because the woo-woo shit is actually who you are. This is the thing that we've kind of forgotten, right? Yeah, but this is so important. It just came to me as we were laughing about it. But these are the kind of things that if you can be awakened to, that if you can be mindful of, these kind of words that are demonizing, that are bringing down something that is so powerful. The first thing you do when you're born is you take a breath. The last thing you do when you go back home, what people call death, is you take a breath.
Of course. And Yewa, when you breathe, it's Yewa.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Which is, they say, that's what the true meaning of God is, and it's incredible. So you start to discover who you are, but that's been taken away from us. It's kind of been stripped away from us almost, so that we're just these, as we all believed at some point, that we're just these human idiots who are here to consume. We live life, we work until we're 60, and then all of a sudden we're 65. Now we're 70, and now they're starting to talk about 75. So pretty much what they're doing is they're pushing a pole so that you work for the rest of your life, and you never really discover who you truly are. You're just a slave to the system. But they do it in such a clever way that you believe that that's what you are.
Well, retirement used to mean finish work to die.
Yeah.
Your mortgage,
this is it. The slave.
Your mortgage is a debt until you die.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, let's not go down that route.
No, we don't need to today. But this is what the breath allows you to do. More importantly, the number one thing is connecting with you. It really allows you to connect with yourself. And for you to learn.
Just touching on that a bit as well. It's like when we breathe in, we're breathing in new positive energy. So if you're going through a trauma or anxiety, when we release, we're letting go of the old. So it's in with the new, out with the old. Layer by layer, we can strip down the traumas, the pains, the emotions. You might have an evening like I did where you feel like 10 years worth has gone, or it might take you a few months. It all depends on where you're at. But when I do something, I do it to my fullest. So I was going to breathe in. As soon as I found that, I was able to breathing sessions every single week until I learned it, until I just embodied it. And even now, I'm conscious of every single breath I take now. And when you become conscious and aware of your breath, you get to learn the sensations. You get to learn different feelings in the body, different breaths. Like you can be nice and really slow, or you can speed it up a little bit, so you can bring more energy in if you're feeling a little bit fatigued. So again, playing with that breath of fire, a few little breaths, get some energy going.
I was just about to mention the breath of fire. I love that one because it's one that you can do, just bursts of. And I do it when, obviously, I'm not driving at the minute, but I do it when I'm driving.
I was driving earlier.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's one of those breaths. Well, as Joby said, if you're feeling a little bit fatigued, you just need a burst of energy, breath of fire. Just breathe into that kind of that top of the chest really quick. Honestly, but all you need to do is you do that 30 times, take a big breath in, release it, and then just repeat it, 3-4 times. Honestly.
So as we go through, you're going to hear me breathing. You probably hear Alex breathing as well. And just taking them conscious breaths in, having different size breaths, different textures, different depths, different speeds. So find out what you like, and whatever trauma you've been through or emotions, the more you start to consciously breathe in, if it's a nice slow breath, or it's a breath of fire and it's full speed. It's a completely different end of the spectrum. But finding what rhythms or depths, textures you like. When I hold my sessions, it's about what does your body need? Because I could be saying, go deeper, go faster, but your body might just be like, I really just want to slow down. And I want to enjoy this nice, long, extended inhales. Okay. So what does your body need? And there's a really beautiful breathwork called vibration breathing. I love vibration breathing. And it's all about listening to your body. When you start playing with this, the body starts firing little signals in your body. So it starts playing with you. So it becomes a little bit of a game. And then all of a sudden you'll get these little sensations and you can breathe into it. So it's always a nice circular connected breath. You're breathing in, you're letting go. You're breathing in, you're letting go. Okay, like being on a wheel. And then all of a sudden you can start taking a bigger breath, and then you can add some yawns, you can add some sighs, and it becomes a real just freedom. It's liberating. But what you're doing, even though and again, I've got this real thing and stigma around healing that so many people make healing hard. If we can have some fun with it, okay, if we really just bring a little bit of our inner child in, because sometimes, especially if you're going through trauma, you might be a bit depressed, or you've got anxiety, your body is screaming to you that you need to have some fun. Because you will elevate your vibration, and even if it's for 5 minutes, even if it's for 2 minutes, 1 minute, that 1 minute is better than nothing. And you can do little steps. If you've got anxiety, depression, take little steps. And it's the little steps that lead to doing something else. And if you can be consistent for 28 days, just do something for 28 days. Even if it's just for a couple of minutes, you will start seeing results.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing just to add, with what Joey was saying there, the breath is so simple. When you realize the techniques, that there are. If you think about it, there is only three really techniques when you're looking at how you can possibly breathe. Then after that is just play. You breathe through the nose, and then it's nose and mouth, or you breathe through the mouth. That's it. Like there's no major science to this. The body created, we've been created to breathe in this way. So as Joby said, you can breathe in, 3 seconds in, 4 seconds out. You can breathe 2 seconds in, 3 seconds out.
You're creative
You
mind.
create, you let the body and the brain create whatever suits you. And this is why breath work is so powerful, because when you find, as I like to call it, it's the mechanism of the breath. And every single one of us will connect to that at some point. Joby and I did a breathwork session last week, and I really needed it. And Joby said, "Oh, I can come over and do some breath work." I was like, "Yep, let's go," because I love to breathe. And it's one of these things that, it's nice. One of the things I've learned is, when somebody offers, to come and help and support and sit, I'm like, please, yeah, let's go, because I can breathe, but, for myself, Joby's the same. But it's so lovely that you can share an experience with someone, and you can do that with somebody that you can trust. And, and we went through a rebirthing experience. And, we were doing kind of the fascia exercises as well.
Yeah,
Joby was showing me
fascia
some of that
exercise.
because of the cauda equina stuff that I'm suffering, with at
How's
the
that
moment.
gone for you so far? Have you been doing it more?
I've been doing it more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I do it.
Amazing.
So consciously now I do the kind of twist and pull and breathe into it,
Yeah,
and started to, every day, everything,
yeah,
just gets better all the time. But this is something I've been saying since I've been going through this journey, is because, as I've explained before, with cauda equina is everything below the waist gets affected, because the cauda equina nerve sits, at the lower part of the spine. And when that gets affected, what you need to do, as I'm discovering, is you need to be able to rebuild things. You need to re-heal everything. And you do it through several ways. One, breathing, because when you breathe into yourself, it naturally heals you. I said this, even when I was talking to you. I've said it a number of times when I was talking to Dan. I said, your body is its own pharmacy. You are the medicine. And Dan said, I'm going to use that. I was like, yeah, fuck it, use it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Listen, the more people that can hear that, the
yeah,
better, because that's the truth. You are your
yeah,
medicine cabinet. Like, that's what you are. And the first thing that you open it with is the breath. So when
yeah.
you open that, and as Joby's just been teaching there and showing the different breath techniques that you can use, it's that simple. All you do then is you just set a timer and off you go. And it doesn't have to be anything heavy. It doesn't have to be, but what it has to be, it's either you're consciously breathing, where you're breathing for a purpose, or you're just aware of the breath. And these are kind of the two ways. So conscious breathing, mindful breathing, as it's another term that's used, which is why mindfulness is obviously, again, very powerful. It's just being very aware, just really connecting with who you are. That's helped me massively. And the other is just allowing the body to heal. Joby touched on the mind, what happened with him, connecting to your mind, understanding, okay, I command this to
Mm.
happen. It's going away from the victim going, oh, why me? I not once. I'm sure, Joby went through that dark time of thinking, fuck, there's a possibility here. I could be blind, and the same. I wake up, my feet are dead, and I'm shit. Am I going to be paralyzed? And the first thing that popped into my head is, fuck, no,
Mm.
no. You're
Yeah,
going to walk again. Your body's healed. And as
yeah,
soon as I got the confirmations, as Joby did, I started demanding, confirming all of these things every single day. Step
yeah,
two,
exactly. You're
command your body to do what it needs to do,
perfect.
you know, and start to allow yourself to go through that. So Joby offered, as I said, to come and do some breath work. And I was like, let's go. And we started doing the fascia exercise. I was like, God, what's this? It's like, just imagine it as he described it to me. For those of you listening, it's like a Chinese burn. And I'm sure many of you who are our age, in your 40s, would have had a Chinese burn.
Like you're
all you
twisting
Gen
fascia.
Zs and XZs or whatever you are, all your 18-year-olds probably don't know what a Chinese burn is. Come round and I'll do one for you. You see what it feels like. I'll give you a Chinese burn. But
Right on the wrists.
right on the wrist, the wrist ones as well. Especially if you're like, guys, you got like manly, hairy arms. Oh, they hurt. But on a more kind of practical, serious level, it is really powerful because it's not something I've ever done before. I do other things which, we're talking about the fascia. What I was doing differently is I was massaging everything, which was just kind of, I guess, just a different way of doing it. We took it to another level. So we did that for what, 20 minutes or whatever. We did pretty much like a whole body one, which was lovely. And then we went on to this breath work. Joby, how long were we breathing for? Because I don't even know.
Just literally just under an hour.
That was under an hour. I thought we were
an hour.
breathing for about 2 hours.
Yeah, no. So what we did with the fascia movements, just to go into that a little bit more. So what you do is you're pinning and locking your skin, and then you pull. It's like you're putting it away from the bone. And what happens is the fascia then starts, and then when we start pinning and locking the fascia, what happens is we then counter rotate the body, and we breathe into the body and we breathe into the fascia. And when we do that, it creates a pressure. So all of the breaths that we do, stage breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, is putting oxygen and energy directly into the point of the pain. So if anything is stored in the body, it automatically just gets cleansed. We can really go into breath science right here, right now, but keep it very very simple because we don't want to complicate things. But then once you do that, so you're opening up your senses. So when it comes to trauma, there's like 4 main methods that we can really use to get into the senses, to get into the body, so we can really unlock. Okay, so we have like the qigong tapping massage, where we just cup our hands and we just start tapping all over the body. That's a really nice massage. So we go down the outside of the body, up the inside of the body, and just tapping all over. And you can go up on the lymph nodes. You can really just start getting the body stimulated. And obviously, as you're doing this, breathe as well, because we're not just breathing oxygen, we're breathing energy. So can you breathe into your toes, your feet, your legs, all the way up your body? So you're expanding, literally, you are expanding like a balloon. So all of that energy gets pushed into the cells, into the organs, the tissues, the fascia. Every part of our body starts rejuvenating. We start healing the body. Then we have, obviously, we can go into fascia movements where we're pinning and locking the body. So we start opening up the senses. We start really getting the fascia moving. And what ends up happening is the fascia becomes like a muscle. So it becomes fascial. It becomes like a fascial. So all of your muscles start becoming more functional. So the more we open the fascia, so if we have a trauma, the body gets knocked maybe like on one side. If you have a car accident, so all that information is tight down that body. You might walk a certain way, your foot might even come in a certain way. When we start opening up the fascia, the body opens up again, and all of that trauma, the emotions, the feelings, everything just gets dissolved away. So it's like when we're pinning and locking, and it's like squeezing a towel. So it's like squeezing all of the stress, the tension out of us. And the more we breathe and we squeeze, all of that negative lower energies just gets brought to the surface and cleared. It's an incredible practice. Then obviously we have breath work, and then we have like meditation as well. So really, when you do these 4 senses, we can really it's a deep cellular transformation. And this is, for me, body work, breathing. So it's different stages and different layers that we can work through. And again, even if we take a breath in now, use your mouth, where do you feel that in the body? Okay. Take a breath in through your nose. Where do you feel that in the body? Okay. If you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, where do you feel it? Okay, so there's different circuits of the breath. And now we can start incorporating it. So the breathwork session we did was rebirthing session where we use one channel only. So we decided to use the mouth. That one channel brings the energy up the body. Okay. So we're cleansing the body from the feet, the legs, the toes, and it starts circulating like a wheel. So we start getting energy flowing. That's the main thing. When you have a trauma or pain in the body, it's a blockage of energy. So when we start breathing into this and we're opening up, that blockage gets dissolved and cleansed. So now we are cleansing, rejuvenating the body, we're purifying the body, and we're activating the cells to truly resonate in a higher frequency. So that means when the cells start activating, we raise our vibration, no sickness, disease can be stored in the body. So we can self-heal.
And this is a fact, by the way. This is a fact, and nobody will believe this until you do it.
Yes, better experienced than explained.
Than explained, exactly, perfectly said. Better experienced than explained, because it's one of these things that until you connect with your body and you allow yourself to use these tools that are given to you for free, the tools are there. We've learned techniques and we teach these things, and but honestly, once you know, and it's something that you can just put into practice every single day. And when you want to go deeper than having a sitter, someone that can sit with you and go through, because you can go even deeper and even higher, as they say, with someone. And we did that. Honestly, when we came out, it took me a minute, because we got into such a flow that I was pretty much gone, and my body was vibrating so high I couldn't actually feel kind of my body more, because it was just energy. It was just vibrating and buzzing, and I was just breathing. This is it, because after that, I don't need, my body doesn't need to do anything. I've connected with mind, body, spirit, so everything is fully aligned now, and the body goes, cool, I know what we're doing. All right, let me work through the bits I need to do. So I do the internal, Joby does the external.
That's why relaxation, so to jump in, that's why relaxation is so important. The more you relax and you're doing your breathwork session, or you're doing a healing session, whatever it may be, the more you relax, you're telling the mind you are safe. And the mind and the body will naturally start working with you. So you might not have them big emotional releases, the crying, the tears. Sometimes we don't need that.
No.
Sometimes the body will just naturally dissolve it. I've had many clients go, I felt really heavy in my chest, like I felt all this dense energy, and all of a sudden it was just gone. So relaxation is key. Letting go and relax.
Yeah, it really is. And it's so powerful to be able to connect, in that way, because when you want to heal the body, which a lot of people are going through at the moment. We're going through very challenging times. We're going through a real shift in power, in energy, and there's a lot of changes, a lot of division, a lot of labeling, and these are all things that, unfortunately, in the short term, we think and believe that these things have a purpose. But when you start to connect with who you are and you start to understand who you truly are, you realize that none of these things have any meaning whatsoever. The color of your skin, your gender, whether you're vegan or carnivore, whether you drive a BMW or a Ferrari, it's going to get you from A to B the same way. Whether you have a Casio watch or whether you have a Rolex, it still tells the time. It doesn't matter whether your iPhone or whether your you know, whatever. I don't even know what the other one's called because unfortunately I'm the iPhone guy. Android, there you go, Android, Apple, right, Joby? Like it doesn't really matter. And these are the things that you start to realize that these are very materialistic things. These are things that are all very external to keep us busy from truly understanding and realizing who we are, and but also importantly as well, because some of you who are going or who have gone through the call to require or who have experienced trauma, who listen to this, connecting with the breath is the one thing that will help you not to just heal the body, but for you to start to master the brain, to move yourself away from the fear into empowerment, into courage, into hope, into faith, for you to start, instead of pleading and, oh God, please help me, you kind of go, actually, no, I command this. This is who I am. Let's make it happen. And you will start to understand, but also witness, more importantly, as Joby said, because it's not something that sometimes can be explained, it has to be experienced, is that you will start to witness, your own changes. And Joby, without naming or anything like that, I'm sure you will have countless of experiences where you've seen people change. I know I have, and even when we were working together, Jesus,
I've seen miracles happen. One of my old clients used to have such bad anxiety and stress, they put on 90 tablets a day. Within 90 tablets a day for 20 years, by the way, 20 years, 90 tablets a day. Two weeks of breath work and working with me, she threw them all away, has never touched them again. I've had other people with suspected cancer. We got rid of that. They went back for their scans, and it was all gone. So I've had people with back pain for 30 years come in 5 minutes worth of breathing, completely gone. Like miracles. And just, very, very, it's profound. And the thing is, all I'm doing is showing them how to breathe. They are the one, they are healing themselves. The breath is a direct link to self-healing.
Yeah. And this is something that's very powerful, because it's for people to understand. And what can happen sometimes is people come into Joby's practice, into other practices, or they come into a ceremonial, event, and they think, oh, the shaman's going to heal me. And you very quickly get smacked in the face and realize that, you're doing this yourself. I can't breathe for you. So you're going to breathe. But here's the beautiful thing about it is, once you get yourself out of that fear and ego and victimhood and, oh, my poor life, and you start to breathe and you start to understand and create the true reality, not this illusion that we live in, the true reality of who you are, you start to realize what you're capable of. And as Joby said, some of the things that people have overcome, I've been exactly the same. I worked with someone, Lucy and I both did, and it was more of a ceremonial, but we were doing a lot of breath work into that as well. And this individual is known in the trauma industry, like very, very, very well known in the industry. And this individual came and did one session with us. It was one session. And they came out the other side and literally got up and went exactly what Joby said. Fuck me. That was like 10 years worth of therapy in 4 hours. It's like, welcome to breath work. We did do some plant medicine in there as well, but this is, as Joby said, and I'll say it again, has to be experienced, not explained. Because the ego, the fear kicks in, the mind kicks in, as it did with me, and it will tell you, nah, it's bollocks. It only happens to certain people. Listen to me when I tell you, there is 8 billion of us on this planet. If you don't breathe, then you're a different species. because every species on this planet breathes.
And we're all connected to that one breath.
Exactly.
One breath.
Yahweh. Exactly.
We're all
This is it.
breathing spirit. Because
Yeah.
in Greece, breath actually means spiritus or something like that, like an old mythological term. Spiritus is to breathe, is the breath of the soul.
Yeah, because that's exactly what it is. You know, when you really truly connect and understand the sort of the power of it, it really does take you to different places, you know. And I've had the pleasure of working with, you know, with Joby on a number of occasions,
Yeah,
and
we
we
had our
did
own app
this.
together, didn't we? We had our own
Ah,
app. We had our own
yes.
breathwork app. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like we've stayed connected because, you know, it's such a you find incredible bonds, you know, with people, you know, and you really allow yourself to, you know, to let go of fear and ego when we've done, you know, other work together, and you know, and it's the power of it is truly phenomenal. Really is. You know, people say it's kind of like a miracle, and you know, and I'm sure we can share hundreds and thousands of cases where these things have happened. You know, where things have really changed. But one of the things I want to ask, actually, for you anyway, what's been the most profound experience you've had with breathwork? Because in the early days when we started doing breathwork, we were throwing out the old holotropic. And if you haven't done holotropic breathwork, oh my God, this thing is hard work. Is
Yeah,
hard work.
holotropic is the hardest, and that is how I started my journey really with
Yeah,
holotropic.
yeah,
2 or 3 hours of
yeah,
deep breathing, fast,
yeah,
like absolute lunatics wailing around the floor. Like it's just holotropic.
yeah.
It's for
Literally
like it's
like
got
hands, claw hands,
yeah, absolutely. So the T-Rex hands, right?
T-Rex hands. Yes, yeah.
It's called tetany, by the way. So
Tetany, yeah, that's right.
when you breathe, what happens is all of the meridians in our energy lines start moving the energy. And when we start over oxygenating the body in a very short space of time, all of the oxygen gets released into the hands, pushed down into the feet. So technically it's like a cramping of the muscle as well. So what happens is your hands cramp because all the energy gets pushed into the hands, and then it's like people start making these really weird noises, and all their hands go really small, so it looks like a T-Rex. So I actually got a T-Rex for my healing room as like that was the mascot.
What's the
But yeah,
T-Rex? You'll find out.
yeah, exactly. Do you want
You'll
to go T-Rex
realize.
today? A little bit of T-Rex today, my friend.
Oh,
But yeah, so we just make it fun, but it's a temporary thing. It can be
it is.
very uncomfortable. I've seen people have it in their feet as well, and their feet just go rock hard. Like it is uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
if you can carry on breathing and you can get comfortable in that uncomfortable, you will have a breakthrough like you've never seen. And again, I like to describe the breath work I do, like you're digging for gold, you're drilling for oil, either one, right? So you're going deeper and deeper. And the more you relax, all of a sudden, we're going deeper and deeper. We're breaking down the persona, the emotions, the feelings, the programming, the beliefs. So we're in our core, the divine spark that's within us. We want to get down to that. Okay. So we want to ignite that energy. And when we get to a certain point of discomfort, we might stop. Okay. And we are going to be 3 foot from gold.
Yeah.
You might just be that. So I've literally just written a book and it's called You're Just One Breath Away. Okay. You're one breath away from your breakthrough. You're one breath away from changing your life. You're one breath away from transformation. So in a session, when we're breathing and it gets a little bit uncomfortable, but you're not quite got that breakthrough yet, that transformation to release that trauma, the pain, the emotion. Keep going, but relax with it. The more you do, the more you relax, again, like I said earlier, your brain and your body will work with you. And when you strike that gold, you're going to have a euphoric bliss like you've never had. But talking about what you just mentioned about holotropic, okay, so holotropic is obviously one end of the spectrum. Then I've done rebirthing breaths just purely with my nose. Very, very gentle, okay? And I've had the most profound experiences like that. All of a sudden, it's like something happened, and it's that your DMT, which is stored within the body, which is stored within our lungs, within our brain, which most people can't do DMT experiences, right? But we've got it in us.
Yeah,
DMT,
we release it naturally.
DMT is, yeah, it's within us. So when you actually release DMT through breath work, it just opens up and it comes like it goes all colors, and it is just the most euphoric experience. It's up there. It's exactly the same as going for a DMT experience, and it probably lasts just as long as well. So being very gentle with the breath, using my nose, has given me some of the most profound experiences. But then I've also had other experiences where I've been using the mouth, and it's deep, 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 powerful, hard work. 2 hours, 3 hours, and I'm like, completely gone. So also as well, one day I've gone in for a session, and I'm like, the intention is I want to have a real big experience. Did I get it? No. No. And then some other times I've got in bed and I always like to breathe before I go to sleep, just to relax and de-stress the body and regulate the nervous system back. And then literally breathing, all of a sudden DMT opens up and I'm in a full experience. I was like, that wasn't what I intended. I did. So it all depends on you on your day as well. My thing is I always teach my students, always expect the unexpected in a breathwork session, because you never know what's going to arise. Like we've done working on trauma, and all of a sudden that's our one intention, to release a certain trauma. Then something completely different arises, and it's like that weren't even the thing. It's something I forgot when I was about 5 years of age. Like completely different things. So best thing to do is going into a trauma release session is just go in, be open, and whatever arises, breathe through that, observe it. And the more you breathe through the pain, the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, it just dissolves away. So allow whatever. Sometimes it's quite nice just to allow whatever wants to arise, and some, as we spoke about earlier, even planning for podcasts. Sometimes you go in for a plan and something completely different happens. There's the same with the breathwork session as well.
You just never know. And this is the thing, which is, and that's so true, because when you're going through, when you're using the breath to have a release, when you're talking, when you're having talking therapy, you're doing coaching, whatever it may be, you're having to try and remember things. And there are certain things that are in the subconscious, things that have been stored away for our own protection. A lot of the times, things get deep, 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 deep into the body or into the brain and then into the body. These energies are stored in there. And a lot of the times it's kind of like lock and key. You're not really going to get into here. But when you go into the breath, what the breath allows you to do is you don't have to even think about it. As Joby said, you may go in there with an intention to say, well, do you know what? This hurt me when I was, in a relationship or whatever. But actually, what hurt you in that relationship, the trauma you had from then, actually happened when you were 5 years old. So actually, that's not really the root cause. And what the breath does is it takes you to the place that you need to go in order for you to release what you're trying to, and that's the the real power of the breath. And what Joby was saying as well about when you get the techni or the T-Rex hands or claw hands, whatever you want to call it, he was explained to me in such a clever way that because through your fingers, through the palm of your hand, these are energy releases. So you've got like the channels where it just runs through your hands. And when you're think about it, that you're literally in a traffic jam, so all of a sudden you're starting to breathe, and you're breathing the trauma out, and all of this energy is breathing through your arm and is trying to release into the tiny, tiny, tiny little areas within your hand or within your fingers or within your feet. And all of a sudden it's gone, hang on, there's not enough of this, there's not enough space for all of us. So you're just basically going through it. But what Joby said is, don't stop. Breathe through it, because what you're doing is it's like, or even when you're trying to unblock a sink, what you're doing is you're unblocking this energy, in order for you to have that release, in order for it to completely let go, so that you can then cleanse, because once you unblock everything, the breath then continues to do the work, and then it's the cleansing, the rebuilding, the empowering, whatever it may be then for you. Because then after that, as Joby says, you open the doors, mate. What do you want to find next? What do you want to do now? So it's really important for people to understand, because when we started, I remember when we were doing the holotropic breath work, and we would go, as Joby was saying, like 3-4 hours. We'd be doing these breath sessions, and we'd be breathing for it's just, but you would have these incredible experiences. But one of the things that I found, and I'm sure Joby would be the same, is that eventually you don't need to go that hard, and actually there's a time and a place for those kind of breaths. There's a time and a place for those kind of breaths. But the deepest, the biggest results I've had, and especially for certain people, and I'd love your take on this, Joby, that a real good facilitator, a real good coach, a really good sitter would look at you as you start to breathe and go, I'm just going to tweak the breath, because you cannot see the body. That's the whole point of a sitter, is the sitter can see your body. And there were times when Joby and I were breathing the other day, and I heard him saying to me, I love how you said it, let's just curve those edges a little bit with the breath. And it was, and I knew exactly when he was saying it, because I could feel it internally, he could see it externally. And it generally tends to happen within the first 10 to 20 minutes of you breathing, because as Joby says, you go through layers. And the first layer you've got to tackle is fear and ego, fight or flight system. The brain's going, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you breathing that way? Are you having a panic attack? Are you anxious? What's going on? And the body starts to tense, and all of a sudden the sitter will go, let's just change the breath. Let's cut those edges off. Keep that circulating nice and easy. Let's just keep going. Relax and relax and relax. And the next thing you know, we just find a connection, right? You find a connection, and next thing you know, you're breathing together. Because what happens is you start to breathe as one. And as you start to breathe as one, all of a sudden, because obviously he's the sitter, you then just watch. You're just able to then just watch, because he then doesn't have to do anything. He may just guide, or he may actually kind of go, I've been called to do some healing. I might just do a few things here. I might just work on this whilst you're breathing, because now you're mind, body, spirit connected. You're breathing yourself. My job here is done, so to speak. Now you are exactly where you need to be. You're safe, you're protected, you're exactly where you need to be. The things that Joby mentioned before. And you just get into this flow now where your job, as I understand now, as I connect with the breath, his job externally is to always keep me safe, protected, and exactly where I need to be. So he can see the body. And where he can, where the right person can, and this is why it's important as well to choose the right people to sit for you, because they can see the external and they can guide you through the changes, or you might just be in that perfect place. Internally is where you go within to be able to start to experience what's going on for me emotionally. What's my mind telling me? You know, what's happening around the body? Am I feeling something internally that I need to breathe into? Because that's something that's always really important when you go into these breath sessions and you're going deep within. It's really important for you to start to pay attention. So having that consciousness, not just being consciously aware of the breath, but consciously aware of what's going on internally, because externally you've got someone you can trust. What are your thoughts, Joby?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as you mentioned, it's like I'm seeing one thing, you're doing another. Okay. So I always tell my students as well, it's like the more we can make that breath nice and smooth, again, it's another signal to say that you're breathing safe, which is what you just mentioned as well. So it's like the more we tell and we send positive signals in the body with the breath, we make a breath nice and smooth. So if you're breathing fully and you want to go to 10, okay, come to about 8. Because if you go fully in, you can't round off that edge. I can't, where's my turning point? Okay, so we need to make that breath nice and smooth. And as we get to, imagine breathing in up from like 6 o'clock all up to 12. And as we get to 12, we let go. So we're doing all the work on you now and we're just letting go. So what I did, I ended up creating what we call a straight line system. Okay. And I do this with my students. It's an amazing technique. So if someone's breathing too small, too slow, they're going to be under that line. Okay. So they're coming out of the straight line. If someone's breathing too erratic or it's too fast and they're going to really hyperventilate, they're not going to get the result they need, because you can actually over breathe as well. So pulling it back in. Okay, cool. Let's find that middle ground. We can still have a bit of pace, we can still have we've got room for movement, so I can go a little bit faster. I can slow it down. I can really make nice, elegant, flowing breath. I can go really slow. But I'm still in that straight line system. If I'm literally not doing anything, or if I'm too fast, like a holotropic breath, which takes that to like the limit. It's one of these. If we can control the breath in a nice rhythm, gives us a little bit of pace. If we need to breathe through something and have a little bit more dynamic, 30 seconds, a minute, couple of minutes, whatever it may be, whatever your body needs, we can push the limits a little bit. But being a nice, steady flow really just takes your practice to the next level. So you can really connect the breath. If you need a bigger breath, you take a bigger breath. And then you go back in. So it's always learning how to just be in a straight line. So we're not over breathing, but we're not under breathing as well.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Because the thing is, remember this when you're going through it. When you're breathing, you're free flowing. The breath is free. There's no right or wrong way of breathing when you connect with it. Is the one of the things that I've discovered that's so important is that oneness. Is the oneness. Because as we were talking about that first 10-20 minutes when you start to breathe, you're just starting to kind of get into the rhythm, because you want to relax the mind, you want to relax the body. So you're getting into the rhythm, the sitter's there observing, the external. And once you get into that rhythm, that's when you really then start to find that magic, because everything starts to align, everything starts to connect. And it's it's a beautiful way to really engage not only with that mechanism of the breath, that flow of breathing, but also really connecting with, with yourself, which I think is, that's something which is really missing nowadays. And I think it's a huge part of the healing process. People talk about breath work as, as though it's something that's just been created over the last 100 years. It's been around for fucking thousands of years. You know what I mean? Like, it's been around for thousands of years, the Buddha and Shiva and you name it, Christ, they were all breath workers. They were all meditators. They all understood, breath awareness, conscious breathing, and so this is not something that's new. It's something that's been forgotten, and now it's being remembered, and it's being remembered in the sense that I actually find it quite funny that, yeah, I find it quite interesting that it's being remembered to the point where they're now even writing things on the newspaper. I saw a newspaper article somebody shared that, honestly, mate, just saying it makes me feel a bit sick. That breathing, people talk about this whole climate change. Breathing too much is bad for the climate. Come on, people. Come on, really? Are we gonna...
No comment.
Let's just leave that one there. Let's just leave that one
I'm just
there.
gonna put my hat over my eyes on
Yes,
that one.
yeah, let's just hide in shame. Hide in shame over that one.
Just on the audio, I'm literally put a hat over the eyes.
Joby's just hiding completely in shame. Just embarrassment,
It is funny.
honestly. Joby, where can people find you? So if they want to connect with you, if they want to, find out more about your events, are you still doing stuff online as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got 2 classes a week online, Tuesday and Thursdays. Social media is Pure Breathwork. My website is purebreathwork.org. So yeah, connect. I've also just launched a free training video series as well, 7 modules, so like an introduction to breathwork facilitator training. So you got that, and you got my live events, which we do in person. So what we're doing now, we're build and creating something. It's like going to the gym. So we go to the gym for an hour, but why not come to another breathwork class for an hour and a movement class for an hour? And so we're doing this thing where we've got breath, movement, fascia movements. We're doing the tapping. So we're using the 4 elements that we spoke about: the tapping, the fascia, the breathwork, meditation, and we're adding sound in as well every now and again. So like an hour blast of coming, having a session, clear some energy, and we go on with our day. So most people can do that. So yeah, just my book's coming out very soon as well. Pure Breathwork, you're just one breath away. So that'll be out very, very soon as well. And
beautiful.
Yeah, so please connect with me, and I hope that you've enjoyed some of this information. And again, the more you play with the breath, the more it'll teach you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's just leave it exactly where we are, because this is a sort of a perfect ending, I think. Joby, you're an absolute superstar, man. It's always a pleasure being with you, being friends with you, sharing these spaces with you and these experiences. And keep shining. Connect with Joby, go and check him out, all of the things that he's doing. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Take a breath, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.
Thanks for listening. And if you want to find out more about how you can overcome issues caused by mental health, go to alexdasilva.co.uk. That's www.alexdasilva.co.uk. See you on the next one. Be great, be fantastic, and be absolutely phenomenal. Take care.